A parable, a simple story used to illustrate a moral or spiritual lesson, takes the stage today. They're like coded messages, concealing profound wisdom behind their straightforward narrative. The parable we delve into today is one of the most beloved tales from the Christian tradition, yet its significance transcends religious boundaries, resonating with many across the globe. This is the parable of the prodigal son. In a distant land, a wealthy man lived with his two sons. The younger son, restless and eager for independence, asked his father for his share of the family wealth. The father, though saddened, divided his property, and the younger son took his fortune and journeyed to a distant country. There he squandered his wealth in wild living, and when a severe famine struck that land, he found himself destitute and hungry. He took a job feeding pigs and was so famished, even the pig slop seemed appetizing. But then, a moment of clarity struck him. He remembered his father's house, where even hired hands had more than enough to eat. So he decided to return, hoping his father would take him back as a servant. The father, who had been waiting and hoping for his son's return, saw him from afar. He ran to his son, embraced him, and kissed him. The son confessed his mistakes and asked to be a servant, but the father would hear none of it. Instead, he ordered his servants to bring the best robe and put it on his son, put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. He called for a feast to celebrate, for his son was lost and now is found, was dead and now is alive. The older son, returning from the fields, heard the celebration and was filled with anger. He refused to join the feast, prompting his father to come out and plead with him. The older son voiced his resentment, saying he had served faithfully and never received such a celebration. The father replied, "Son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours, but we had to celebrate and be glad, for this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." The parable of the prodigal son is rich with lessons. It paints a vivid picture of forgiveness and grace, showing us that no matter how far we stray, there's always a way back. It teaches us about the power of repentance and the joy of redemption. It also reminds us of the dangers of resentment and entitlement, as shown by the older son. The father's love for both his sons, despite their flaws, signifies the boundless, unconditional love that can exist in relationships. The parable encourages us to be like the father, full of compassion and ready to forgive rather than holding on to anger and resentment. It invites us to celebrate the return of those who were lost, instead of focusing on what we perceive as unfair. So remember the parable of the prodigal son. Remember its lessons of forgiveness, redemption, and unconditional love. Carry these lessons with you, and perhaps they may guide you on your journey, whatever path you may choose. For more inspirational videos like this, do hit the like and subscribe button.